An economics teacher plays a significant role in shaping how students understand the forces that drive societies and markets. From explaining supply and demand to exploring global trade, economics teachers make complex ideas accessible and engaging. Their goal is not just to teach theory but to help students think critically, analyze data, and apply economic reasoning to real-world issues. Preparing for an interview in this field requires a balance of academic knowledge, teaching ability, and enthusiasm for the subject. In this guide, we'll discuss some common economics teacher interview questions, sample answers, and useful tips to help candidates present their expertise with confidence. The key is to demonstrate both your subject mastery and your ability to make economics meaningful for students. Understanding the role of an economics teacher. An economics teacher's role extends far beyond delivering lectures. They are expected to foster curiosity about how the world works, how markets function, and how decisions shape societies. The position demands not only a strong grasp of economic theories but also the creativity to connect those theories to students' everyday lives. Interviewers look for teachers who can simplify complex topics, integrate current events into lessons, and encourage classroom discussions. The ability to engage different learning styles, use technology, and assess student understanding fairly are also key traits that define a strong economics teacher. Question 1. Why did you choose to become an economics teacher? Here's how you can answer. I chose to become an economics teacher because I believe economics helps students understand the world around them. It's a subject that builds decision-making skills and critical thinking. Teaching economics allows me to inspire young minds to think logically, analyze issues like inequality and globalization, and develop a sense of responsibility as future citizens. Tip: express passion for teaching and link your motivation to student growth and real-world application. Question 2. How do you make economics interesting for students? Here's how you can answer. I make economics interesting by using real-life examples, current news, and interactive discussions. I often relate lessons to topics students are familiar with, like inflation affecting prices or how social media companies use data. Using simulations and case studies helps students see the practical side of economics. Tip: show creativity, engagement, and adaptability in your teaching style. Question 3. How do you explain complex concepts like inflation or fiscal policy to beginners? Here's how you can answer. I start with simple analogies or examples from daily life. For instance, I explain inflation by comparing it to a balloon expanding, showing how too much air, money supply, can make prices rise. Then I gradually introduce technical terms and data so students build understanding step by step. Tip: emphasize clarity, patience, and effective communication. Question 4. How do you integrate current events into your economics lessons? Here's how you can answer. I regularly incorporate news articles, economic reports, and policy updates into lessons. For example, if there's a new government budget or changes in interest rates, I use that as a discussion topic. This helps students connect theory to practice and stay informed about global economic trends. Tip: show awareness of contemporary issues and the ability to keep content relevant. Question 5. How do you assess students' understanding in economics? Here's how you can answer. I use a mix of methods, quizzes, essays, group projects, and discussions. I believe assessment should measure both conceptual understanding and analytical skills. I also give feedback that helps students see where they can improve, rather than just focusing on grades. Tip: highlight fairness, feedback, and varied assessment techniques. Question 6. How do you handle students who find economics difficult? Here's how you can answer. I try to identify where they struggle, whether it's the math, the theory, or the terminology. I simplify explanations, use visual aids, and give relatable examples. I also offer extra help sessions and encourage peer learning, which builds confidence and understanding. Tip: show empathy, adaptability, and a student-centered mindset. Question 7. How do you manage classroom discussions on controversial topics like taxation or inequality? Here's how you can answer. I encourage open discussion while maintaining respect for all opinions. I guide students to back their arguments with facts and data rather than emotions. This approach not only keeps the class balanced but also teaches students the importance of evidence-based reasoning. Tip: demonstrate professionalism, neutrality, and facilitation skills. Question 8. How do you use technology in teaching economics? Here's how you can answer. I use technology to make learning interactive. For instance, I incorporate digital simulations, economic graphing tools, and online data sources like World Bank or IMF reports. Visual presentations and online quizzes help students grasp trends and relationships quickly. Tip: show familiarity with modern teaching tools and data-driven instruction. Question 9. Can you describe a successful lesson you've taught? Here's how you can answer. One memorable lesson was about supply and demand using a classroom market activity. I divided students into buyers and sellers, and prices changed based on demand. It made the concept come alive, and students still refer to it when we discuss market behavior. Tip: use a specific story that demonstrates engagement and learning outcomes. Question 10. How do you encourage critical thinking in economics? Here's how you can answer. I encourage students to question assumptions, analyze graphs, and compare different viewpoints. For example, when discussing government policies, I ask them to consider who benefits and who bears the cost. This helps them see economics as a way of understanding choices and consequences. Tip: emphasize reasoning, debate, and inquiry-based learning. Question 11. How do you ensure inclusivity and engagement in your classroom? Here's how you can answer. I use diverse examples that reflect different cultures and economic systems. I also design activities that cater to different learning styles: visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Group work ensures everyone participates and learns from each other's perspectives. Tip: show cultural awareness and inclusive teaching strategies. Question 12. How do you keep your economics knowledge updated? Here's how you can answer. I regularly read journals, follow economic news, and attend professional development workshops. I also join teacher forums and online communities where educators share lesson ideas and updates on curriculum changes. Tip: show curiosity, lifelong learning, and dedication to academic excellence. Question 13. How do you prepare students for board exams or standardized tests in economics? Here's how you can answer. I break the syllabus into manageable parts, conduct revision sessions, and use past exam papers to familiarize students with question formats. I focus on key concepts, diagrams, and time management so that they feel confident and well prepared. Tip: highlight structure, strategy, and attention to student success. Question 14. How do you handle pressure during peak academic periods? Here's how you can answer. I stay organized by planning lessons and assessments well in advance. I also maintain a calm, positive attitude because students pick up on their teacher's energy. Managing stress effectively allows me to stay productive and supportive. Tip: display composure, time management, and resilience. Question 15. Why should we hire you as our economics teacher? Here's how you can answer. You should hire me because I bring a blend of strong subject expertise, engaging teaching methods, and a passion for helping students connect economics to the real world. I believe in inspiring analytical thinking and making economics both understandable and exciting for every learner. Tip: conclude confidently, summarizing your strengths and enthusiasm. Final thoughts. An economics teacher interview is about more than proving content knowledge. It's about showing how you make learning meaningful. Employers seek teachers who can simplify complexity, encourage curiosity, and prepare students to think critically about global and local issues. To succeed, focus on demonstrating communication skills, classroom management, and your ability to relate economic theory to everyday life. Bring up examples of your teaching successes, creative lesson plans, and methods of engaging diverse learners. Ultimately, a great economics teacher does more than teach formulas and graphs. They cultivate thinkers who can question, analyze, and understand the world's economic systems. By presenting yourself as an educator who combines passion, clarity, and real-world relevance, you can leave a lasting impression and secure your role as a valuable part of any academic institution.